Hi, it's Tom Hughes. We're at the Red Wing Marine Museum talking with current board member Mike Wilson. Mike, tell us about the building behind us, please.
Well, Tom, this building was originally the Red Wing Waterworks building. It was built in 1885, and it was one of the first water plants built in the state of Minnesota. And they were pulling the water directly out of the river and pumping it up into the water system here in Red Wing. And that went on for a couple of years, and then they built the building next door to it in 1910 and put freshwater wells in there and started using that for potable water up in the water system here in Red Wing. And that went on until about the 1960s is when they improved the water system in Red Wing, and this became obsolete, so the building was vacant at that time.
Was it used for a dog pound or something?
Yeah, one of the last uses was a city dog pound along with storage for the water department. So yeah, they had basically storage at that time.
And what is the facility here used for now, both buildings?
Well, currently we converted this main building into the Red Wing Marine Museum. In the building next door, the annex building, we have the Gandy Dancer model train railroad people have their trains in there and have on display.
And when we talk about Red Wing Marine Museum, it's boats and stuff like that, right?
Yes, so what we did was basically emphasize the business of Red Wing Motor Company, which was a huge business here in the early 1900s in Red Wing here. And we just kind of documented the history of it and what all went on and the motors that they built here and the boats they built here. And we just wanted to tell the story of that industry here in Red Wing.
And if anybody hasn't been here for a while, it's different inside than what I remember.
Yeah, we've done some changes. We've been here for over 10 years now, and we've done changes as we go on and improved things and made the displays look nicer and changed them out. So there's always been some improvements going on here.
And all the extra stuff is in your garage?
It's basically stored all over the planet. We got stuff you won't believe, but no.
Well, I remember how much was in here before, and it's a lot cleaner and easier to walk through there now.
Yeah, it was. We started out. We had over 30 motors on display in there, and we had to cut that back a little bit because it was getting a little crowded. But we've since brought a boat in there. We have a boat on display in there, original Red Wing boat. So a lot of things have changed, and we just keep improving.
And when people go in there, they should look at the floor, shouldn't they?
Yes, that floor was kind of a unique design. That was a design done by Marge Vogel, a local artist, and she did that for an advertising piece for the Red Wing Shoe Company. And the shoe company allowed us to take that design and implement it into the floor. And it shows the Mississippi River flowing throughout the building, so it's kind of unique how we did that.
It's very nice. It turned out well.
Over here we have a display that we've put together that kind of commemorates the American Queen Steamboat Company. As you all know, they went out of business here in 2024, and some of this memorabilia was given to us by the company back during its day in business. We've got charger plates here from each of the boats, inaugural charger plate from the American Countess. I had the opportunity to ride that on the inaugural run, and we rode that from New Orleans to Memphis. And so we have some memorabilia from that. This large painting on the wall is of the Mississippi Queen, which was decommissioned about early 20s. They decommissioned that boat and scrapped it. But we have some memorabilia off that boat. We have the original banners that flew on the Mississippi Queen. Over in the other building, we have a window shade off of the Mississippi Queen. So those were things that were given to us over the years by the company. Down here, some more things from anniversaries. So their American Queen in 2015, they had the American Queen 20th anniversary. We moved down here, we have a display from the Red Wing Yacht Club. That was organized in 1903, and that is the boathouses are located across the street from the museum here. So also one of the original pennants from the yacht club from back in days when it was originated, and it was donated to us by a local family here. We moved on here to the history of the Mariner boats, which was built here after the Red Wing Motor Company went out of business. It was founded in 1959 by Dick Tittle, a native of St. Paul, who designed the boats and built them here in Red Wing from 1959 to 1967. Then that company also closed down, but they were the last business in the Red Wing Marine Motor Company building located on Levy Street. Here we have a display of the model of the Creeping Bear boat, which was built here in Red Wing, and it was used by Roxy and Maurice Nelson family, and they took this boat from Red Wing down in New Orleans, and they had their family along, and they did a daily log on this book, on this boat ride, which we documented into a small book and have available. But it tells the story how they went down the Mississippi and gathered up, formed dealers for the Red Wing Motor Company, and all along up and down the river, which they left on October of 1916, and it took them all the way to almost a year to get down the river, setting up dealers all along the way. So we took the logbook and made that into a book which we have available here at the museum. But that was quite an accomplishment back in that day, because there was pretty rustic on the river, and they had quite an experience, and it was quite a journey for them. So it was a successful one. They made up quite a few dealers along the way, which expanded the business for Red Wing Motor Company. Here we have a display of a couple of models that were made by a local craftsman, Tim Stenerson, and one of them is of the American Queen, the upper boat, and the lower one is a model of the Delta Queen, which was all handmade and designed and crafted by this local gentleman, and he donated these to the museum also.
And Mike, tell us about this boat, would you please?
Well, this is quite an interesting story here, Tom. This is one of the few, if not the only one, that we know of in existence. It's a 1904 Red Wing boat with a Red Wing motor in it. And Red Wing made boats and motors up until about 1916, when they went full-time making just the motors. But with this particular boat, this was built and was shipped up to a fishing camp up in the upper Michigan Peninsula. And up there, they used it to tow the fishermen out in their canoes out into the lake. They'd do their daily fishing. This boat would go back out, pick them up, tow them back into their fish camp. Well, this boat was used for several years up there, and it was finally retired. And what happens with these boats back then was they either sunk them or burned them or destroyed them, because they just used them up. This particular boat survived, and a gentleman from Florida finally purchased the boat in 1978 and restored it, and he had it for about 47 years. He had it in the family.
Didn't you keep bugging him trying to get it?
Well, he knew about the museum and contacted us, and if we had any interest in it. And at the time I said, we just don't have the funds to purchase this boat, but we'd love to have it. Well, as time went on, he finally called us one day and says he's got health issues. He has to get rid of the boat. He says, make me an offer. So I threw an offer out there. He accepted it, and 2 weeks later, we're on our way to Florida to pick the boat up. So it's like I say, it's a rare find. It's a wonderful piece to have on display here. I know the former owner just tickled pink that it wound up here in the museum, because it basically came home. And the boat is built in 1904, so it's 120 years old as we speak today. So we're glad to have it here. We get a lot of compliments on it, and like I say, we're very fortunate to have it.
A lot of rehab done on this, or was it in pretty good shape?
This is the way he restored it, and we haven't done a thing to it. We brought it home, wiped it down, and squeaked it in the door. It was a little hard to get it in here. The doors weren't big enough, so we had to make some adjustments to get it in here, but we got it here. But no, as you see, this is exactly how we got it from him.
Very nice shape. So Mike, tell us about the motors we're looking at, please.
Well, this collection I got from Harry Munson, who was the person who put this complete collection together. And unfortunately, Harry passed away in the spring of 2024. And prior years, he was going to split this collection up. and I felt it was very important we keep this collection together. So we purchased the entire over 30-some motors from Harry, and these motors are all operable. He had restored them all in operating condition. We could pop any one of these motors off at any time. It's been several years since we've run any of them. Since we brought them inside, it's going to be hard to do now. But when he restored them, they were all back to original condition. And so we put these all on display. He used to take these to boat shows all over the country and put them on display and run them at these boat shows. So it was very interesting. I know a lot of people have stopped by and remember when Harry brought these out. So it was fun to have them. I thought it was, like I say, very important that we kept this collection together because this is a lot of Red Wing history here.
Are most of these water cooled?
They're all water cooled. They experimented back in the early days with some air cooled, but everything was water cooled from then on back until about '65, and they actually started dabbling in diesel motors at that time, but with Waukesha. But that was the end of the gasoline engines as far as Red Wing making them.
So what is this, Mike? This is right next to the Red Wing Marine Museum.
Right, this is the annex building here, and we've got people always donating these outboards. They've been in their garages and forever, and they just want to get rid of them. And so we invite them to bring them to us. We'll put them on display. We'll explain a little bit about each motor and a little history on them. So it's kind of fun to rack them up here. We're running out of space in here, so we're starting to put them outside on racks because we just get limited on room here. But it's been fun to get them. I know I've got my grandpa's old motor here, and a couple of my buddies brought their dad's motors down to their grandpa's. I've been hanging in their garage, so it's been kind of fun. So just a little addition here, along with a lot of old fishing tackle and lures that we have available on display.
All off the levee wall.
They're all the ones that you threw in there when you were a younger man, so yeah. So then we brought in the Gandy dancers with their display of layouts of the different scenarios that they have put together. So it's kind of fun to have them on display, and they do run these when we're open on the Saturday afternoons, and when the river boats are in town, we also turn this display on for them to take a look at too. So it's kind of a fun little bit for everybody here. We've got the motors for the men to look at. The kids like to come down and look at the trains, and the ladies like to look at the buildings and how we remodeled it and restored everything here. So like I say, there's something here for everybody.
Tom Hughes and Mike Wilson, that's your tour of the Red Wing Marine Museum in Red Wing, Minnesota.